In this video, we'll be checking out our top 5 ocean combat tames for ARK Survival Ascended. We refer to those with the best variety, utility, competence, and fun for their designated roles. These shall all be custom and original modded creatures available on the CurseForge platform. And if you'd like to see more of these top 5 videos, don't forget to hit subscribe and follow the channel. For number 5, we have the Edestus from the Sunken World editions. The Edestus is a striking looking fish who by itself has a pretty decent melee scaling, and its saddle provides free oxygen for its rider. However, when feeding your tamed Edestus thermite, a volcanic compound harvested from the corpses of wild Edestus, this will empower your tamed Edestus, causing all of its melee attacks to leave a burning dot on your targets. And when at maximum heat capacity, it'll unlock a new ability that allows you to pin your target, rendering it completely unable to move. If you land this pin in just the right way, it can also cause your target to not reach you and it can't attack you back. In addition to it also working like a charge attack, which is great for ambushing or disconnecting away from a fight should you be in danger. In addition to its fast movement speed, excellent turn radius, and that it's a simple knockout tame, means that the Edestus is a wonderful generalist combat tame. For number 4, we have the ARK Edition's Anomalocaris by Garuga123. This lad is an amazing hybrid and a fantastic jack of all trades, with probably the best defense in this entire list. By default, your typical tamed Anomalocaris will have a variety of attacks, such as camouflage and stealth ambushing targets, a leech attack that hits multiple times and heals you for a portion of the damage dealt, and a venom attack that leaves a ticking dot on your target. So by default, that means it has stealth, self-healing, and deals dot damage, though everything of which doesn't really hit that particularly hard. What makes the Anomalocaris really special and excel as a jack of all trades is the ability to specialize level its abilities. Along with leveling the typical stats like melee and health onto your creature, the Anomalocaris can also be specialized into venom, parasitic, or ambush attacks. Every single custom level will improve the overall effectiveness of the specialized attack, whether it be the effective range of the stealth improving over time, or the frequency of venom ticks ticking faster. But there are also milestones to achieve as well. So say you were to level 25 points into the venom attack, that unlocks paralysis, allowing enemies to be slowed and have their attacks disabled entirely. While reaching a milestone of 50 levels on venom causes the Anomalocaris to deal 50% extra damage to enemies already afflicted by their poisons. At 25 levels of parasitic, which is a self-healing one, the Anomalocaris gains a 10% damage resistance buff. And at 50 levels of parasitic, it causes the self-healing to heal for more, as well as crippling the afflicted enemy target, causing it to deal less damage and take more damage. And then for the ambush combat tree, the camouflage and stealth, a milestone of 25 levels means that it can now sprint while cloaked. And the milestone of 50 levels into ambush means that it no longer drains stamina while sprinting. Ambushing unsuspecting targets causes a 25-second stun, as well as a 5% chance to insta-kill a wild dino, so long as it is unaware and not a tamed or boss target. Like I said, overall, the ultimate jack of all trades, where as a default base tame, it's generally kind of a little bit weak, its stamina consumption is high, and it has a couple of limitations, but as you really specialize into these different combat trees, it unlocks entirely new aspects of the Anomalocaris and really allows you to fine-tune what kind of combat tame you want this to be. Will it be a tanky self-healer? Will it completely debilitate enemies via all sorts of different dots? Or will it be a master of camouflage with a really potent ambush? The choice is yours. For number 3 on this list, we have the Nothosaurus by MoroNada. The Nothosaurus fulfills its role as a glass cannon, and compared to others on this list, may actually appear somewhat weak. In fact, compared to some vanilla creatures, it might even lose some 1v1 fights due to its lower health pool. However, it's its AoE capabilities that really make the Nothosaurus shine. This creature has a custom resource generation much like the Shadowmane, where you have to generate a charge and spend it on bigger, more powerful abilities. Even baseline at 0% charge, the Nothosaurus has amazing mobility, very fast movement speed, and a number of AoE attacks. All of its basic attacks will cause it to gain a charge over time, to which at any point you can toggle between generator and spender mode, and during the spender mode it causes all of its regular melee attacks to deal more damage, as well as cleave and do miniature AoE splash damage. But on top of that, what really makes the Nothosaurus shine is that when reaching 100% charge capacity, you will unlock 3 different abilities that will spend all of its charge and deal massive damage. The first of these special spenders is Explode, which causes an explosion of damage around the Nothosaurus. The second special spender is Strike, which will individually strike all nearby targets for a large amount of damage. And then the final one is Energy Bubble. Instead of doing an upfront amount of damage, this instead creates a massive field around the Nothosaurus, to which every enemy creature within that field will start taking ticking damage so long as they are inside the field. While this one is active, you can return to the normal mode, build up more of your charge, return back to spender mode, and then continue to spend that charge on either your regular melee attacks and empower them for that splash damage earlier, or by spending it on explosive and striking attacks. Like I mentioned earlier, the Nothosaurus is not the strongest on one-on-one combats. It is much more of a glass cannon, but it massively excels in multi-target environments. For number 2, we have the Draconis Glaucus by Myrmecoleontidae, the Wyvern of the Sea. The Glaucus fulfills a similar niche to the Scorched Earth Wyverns, where they are fast, endgame, and deal devastating damage. Much like the Edestus, the Glaucus relies on a charge system based on consuming resources, in this case biotoxin. By default, it's got a typical bite attack which can also inflict torpor to its victim, and then as it consumes biotoxin and generates charge, it gains access to a powerful breath attack much like that of the Lightning Wyvern. This breath attack consumes both stamina and charge and can even inflict a momentary stun. However, the damage it deals is absolutely devastating and it ticks so rapidly. Another special attack is the Electric Orb, which is more like a projectile AoE similar to that of the Poison Wyvern, minus the Poison Cloud afterwards. And then, at 90% charge or higher, your Glaucus unlocks a special ability, Electric Discharge, with a 5-minute cooldown that deals massive AoE damage to everything around it, typically killing most creatures nearby. Another nice bonus to the Glaucus is that not only is it immune to jellyfish stings, but in fact jellyfish spawn near wild ones, which can make the acquisition of biotoxin much easier. This is a truly insane combat tame, and one that we actually thought was going to be the top of this list until we compared it to this next creature. And thus, for number 1 on this list, we actually have a tie between the Tylosaurus and the Livyatan, both designed by MoroNada. We really debated hard regarding these two, but ultimately they both fulfill similar niches of being juggernauts with high base damage and high health scaling. They are both just exceptionally powerful and endgame tames, to which by the time you have these, there'll be no competition for you in the seas. Except for maybe the Glaucus. Now, while these two both fulfill the similar niches of being these massive juggernauts, the Tylosaurus, which is like an angrier Mosasaurus, is overall faster and a speedier tame, and its agile attack by far hits the hardest out of everything in its list, but has a much larger cooldown. Whereas the Livyatan, on the other hand, is a much harder to acquire tame with even higher health scaling. Its melee attacks don't do quite as much damage, but it deals that damage more consistently, as opposed to the Tylo, where their agile attack has a big cooldown. There certainly are pros and cons to both creatures, where one might move slower but the other attacks faster. But they both have special abilities too. The Tylosaurus can produce pheromone, toxic, and torpidity venoms, which they can inflict upon targets, whereas the Livyatan has a tech saddle which can do ranged damage. It's also worth noting that while the Tylosaurus is a free mod, Livyatan is premium, which could be the make or break for some people. But ultimately, between these two heavy hitters, we would say that the Tylosaurus is the easy one to tame, but the Livyatan is by far the biggest flex. And that is our top 5 ocean combat tames for ARK Survival Ascended. What do you think of this list? Is there anything you'd add to it? Or perhaps we've missed out on any mods available on the CurseForge platform? Please feel free to let us know in the comment section down below. And if you enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more of these, like and subscribe for more ARK Ascended mods videos, and keep an eye out for future videos. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.